from the basics. I was hoping for a raise, little crave, trying to understand my name. Yeah, what's up, guys? It's Data Story here again, and today we are going to make a video just to show you how to generate a CSV or an Excel file from plain text. So there's any times you have plain text in maybe a notepad or like in Microsoft Word, you have it in notepad, or you can have it in notes, but then in your Mac you have it in your text editor, and then you'd want to then import those files to your Excel, or you want to use those files as an Excel format or an Excel spreadsheet, but then you don't want to waste time picking those records one after the other. So the easy way of doing that is to basically, there's a way you can actually go about that, where you can actually then generate that text file and then into a CSV file, an Excel file, and then you now just arrange it and then use it in that format. So for like, I made a mistake initially when I said Microsoft Word, so I meant to say Windows. So if you're using Windows, you'll be checking Notes or Notepad. So you can do it on Notes or Notepad, and then you'll be able to yeah, perform this whatever I'm about to do right now. So basically, just you have a text format that is meant to be in a tabular form, but then instead of you now picking each values one after the other, because you can have a lot of records, it could be thousands or millions of records. There's an easy way you can also do that. So if it's Windows, if you're using a Windows computer, you can do it in Notepad. But then if you're using Mac, which I'm using right now, you can do it in what we call text edit. So just click search for, yeah, so basically text edit, click on new documents, and then you're gonna have this. But then now we want to change this to a plain text. So you click on format, click on make plain text. So now this is basically like a plain text, just like what you have in Windows, like your notepad. And then so basically I'm just going to type in different numbers, say, so this basically how the text format to come in. Say one, say Ben, say salary, um, say age, say 32, I'd say income, say 3,500, let's say wages, let's say what net worth, let's say 300. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it so it just looks like what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to paste all this. Now remember, this is just an example. So now this is just an example, and then we imagine if you actually have like a lot of text formats, and then they're like, okay, you know what, we want this in the tabular form, want it in a CSV format, want it to be in a spreadsheet. You're not going to start picking up everything one after the other. It's going to waste your time. So what you can basically just do is you can select everything. This is the same from this point on. This is going to be the same method that you're going to use if you're using a Windows computer. So you're going to look for your search find and then use replace. So we have spaces. We're going to put a space, and then we're going to put our comma, and it's going to say replace all. Replace. Nope, nope, nope. That's not what I'm looking for. So I'm going to come back here, put that, and then I would say replace. And I'll click on no. So basically, so that's it. So now we have the comma separating each of the text that has a space in between them. And then so now what you can now do now, because if you're saving as a CSV format, CSV just basically means comma separated, and the V version, or I can't remember what the V actually stands for right now, but it basically is a comma separated document, and then you can now then save it as a CSV. And when you save it as a CSV, you can easily now then save it as an Excel file. But obviously your CSV is also a spreadsheet as well. So we click on file, click on save, and uncheck this, and I'm going to save it as a CSV file, and then I'll just save this as um, check, or I'll save it as comma test. Okay, and then it's going to save in downloads. Click on save. So now I'm just going to check my downloaded folder, and we have this. So that's basically the CSV format. I click on it, and it's now going to open as a spreadsheet, and that's basically it. So this is how you can easily, get your get a text file and then convert it to a CSV and Excel file. So from here you can perform your whatever formatting you want to do, because obviously when you have text files, there are going to be some certain things there that you don't necessarily don't want. So let's say for instance I don't want this, so I can easily just go ahead and delete, and then I'm left with the actual values that I want, and then I can then go ahead to save this as an Excel file if you want it to be an Excel, if you want it to be an Excel file. So I'll just click on mm, Microsoft Excel and then save it, and basically that, so it's now an Excel file. That's basically how you can actually do that.
Yeah, so that's it, guys. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, share the videos, and yeah, so that's basically it. Like I said, I want to keep on making shorter videos, so that it's not so exhausting. Yeah. So that's basically it. So yeah, subscribe, and then yeah, and so yeah, if you want to perform this kind of operation, you can always refer to this video and then just easily do it. So you don't have to waste your time copying each word one after the other and then putting it in your spreadsheet when you can easily just do this. So yeah, so until next time, it's the other kind of story.